right, welcome back, everybody. Continuing with our bowl game previews, and we're going to look at the Peach Bowl quarterfinal matchup at Mercedes-Benz Stadium between the California Golden Bears, coming in at 8-5, a team run by Phil Johnson, and number 3 Michigan also at 8-5, and they are ran by Gerald Lane. So I did another preview video earlier today that was covering the Ohio State New Mexico game between the number 7 and number 2 ranked teams in the Rose Bowl. We're going to move on to the Peach Bowl now, and let's get right into the action. What I do like about this bowl game is that both California and Michigan are very healthy. These two teams don't have a lot of injuries to deal with, so this should be a pretty good matchup, seeing how they're both full strength, but we don't know what's going to happen during week 14, of course, so things could change, by week 15, maybe some injuries emerge, and maybe I'll make a quick follow-up video to cover such things. But also, the thing I like about this matchup, and let's go over here and look at the scores for the season. We've got California versus Michigan. And if you look at the point totals for the season, you can see that Michigan comes in at 577 points. In California, they come in at 567. So just doing the math really quick on that one. Just bear with me here. 567 divided by 577. Basically, the lower ranked team here, California, is operating at about 98% of Michigan's point total for the season. That means we're in for a barn burner. This is going to be a bonfire of sorts of a bowl game. Seriously, the Peach Bowl is looking like the big one, honestly. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game because both teams are coming in with like similar results for the season. Just really quickly, I'd like to look at San Diego State here. They come in at 609, and they're playing Oregon, who has 539, right? So Oregon has the higher rank in the Sugar Bowl, right? But San Diego State obviously suffered some, like strange results during the season, bad luck matchups, hard luck losers a lot of times. This game looks like San Diego State is the favorite over Oregon. This game, on the other hand, this Peach Bowl, this is looking like a barn burner because these two teams are very evenly matched. So let's take a closer look at the lineups for each team, and we'll start with the California Golden Bears, the team run by Phil Johnson, of course. So the Golden Bears basically don't have a quarterback to speak of, right? Will Levis, right. Not very good here. You got Aiden O'Connell. Now, here we go again. Last year, Aiden O'Connell was a late season riser. And look at the number right there from last week. 10.15 points. Aiden O'Connell is one of those guys. He starts the season, they don't believe in him, but by the end of the year, the guy in front of him is going to get hurt or he's going to struggle. Aiden O'Connell's going to come out there and he's going to do something for you. It happened last year, it's happening again. It is what it is. You cannot discount the fact that Aiden O'Connell is playing great football right now. And let's just take a closer look at that. Bear with me as I pull up his stats, game log. All right, here we go with Aiden. Really horrible game in week 7. But of course, he came in, he only threw 10 passes, right? But when he throws passes, he can be effective. He had this huge game against Kansas City. That was on Black Friday, right? So Aiden O'Connell had his coming out party again. Is he ready to do it again? That's the big question right now. Let's look at the schedule. Week 15 coming up, taking on the 22nd ranked pass defense from Atlanta. Yeah, there's an opening here. Okay, let's go a step further. I'm not really sure, I'm just kind of shooting from the hip, but let's just look at the news reports on Aiden O'Connell. He was out in practice on Thursday. So it's kind of ambiguous right now on Aiden O'Connell, I'll be honest. But seriously, if he can play in week 15, this guy gives the Golden Bears a reasonable shot at putting up some big numbers at quarterback. Okay, so let's move on down to the running game. You got Chuba Hubbard, very underrated back. Chuba Hubbard has been with this program for all of his years, and he's slowly gotten better and better. And he's their guy, basically. Last week, he definitely struggled, but they also have Rico Dowdle, who had a huge week last week, and they got Jaylen Warren. California has a running game that is capable. Let's look down the line here. Justin Jefferson, of course, great wide receiver there. Zay Flowers on a bye this week, but putting up good numbers on the season. That's why we take week 14 off, by the way, guys, because it's a bye week in the NFL, and we don't want that mixing with our playoffs in this league. So I like it. I mean, there's a lot of potential here for the Golden Bears to put up some numbers. Tight end, yeah, it's a non-existent position for them. Let's look at the linebackers. No problems with health. They have a leader in Nick Bonito. Looking at not the linebackers, but the linemen, sorry. The linebackers, Christian Rosenboom from the Rams, huge week last week, having a great season. Dorian Williams, also good. That looks solid for the Bears. And then you got the secondary looking very good. Brandon Jones, but Brandon Jones does have some sort of an injury issue. So he's got a groin issue. Shouldn't stop him from playing. Brandon Jones is a good player. I've had him on the Aztecs in the past, I think. And he's just one of those guys. He goes under the radar, but people don't protect him. But the guy just simply does stuff. And then you got this new guy, Mike. Oh boy, Senstristeel, I guess it is. Senstristeel, something like that. Huge week last week, obviously. Look at that, 467. That'll do it from the secondary. That's like running back numbers. That's wide receiver numbers. And averaging 2.5. Paulson Adebo. Let's have a look and see what he's in the IR, so that's a problem. But seriously, when you look at the Golden Bears, they look capable. I mean, this is a team that has some talent. The Aiden O'Connell, if he has a huge game, could make a huge difference for them. All right, so let's look at the Wolverines, the supposed favorite here. Jordan Love, solid season. He's still healthy. That's a good thing for the Wolverines, definitely. They also have a solid running back in Jonathan Taylor. That's great. Javonte Williams, he's been a disappointment for the most part. Ray Davis, they're redshirting him. Oh, by the way, Gerald, it's time to unredshirt all your guys. They have 4 eligible games, so bring Ray Davis off of the farm. All these guys, anybody who has not played more than 1 game yet. If they played 2, then you might want to weigh out when you take them off of the farm. But if they haven't played in more than 1 game, you can unredshirt all of them. Bring them off the farm. You want them for bowl season. I've already done that with the Aztecs. So anyways, moving along here, we got pretty decent wide receiver core. Chris Olave, unfortunately, could be an issue. Concussion. He's supposed to be back in week 15. That's great, actually. I think he'll be back, and he's going to give you decent numbers. Olave's been a little bit underwhelming in his career. He's had some ups, he's had some downs, and right now he's definitely averaging out at not the guy we thought he was going to be. But look, you got Nico Collins healthy. He's averaging 6 points a game. That's amazing. Jackson Smith-Njigba is now coming to life with the Seahawks. That's a great group of wide receivers they got there. Of course, you got the stud tight end in Brock Bowers, and Noah Gray is an up-and-coming guy, and he can come out of nowhere. So this team, Michigan, can come with a 2 tight end set if maybe their wide receiver game struggles or their running backs struggle a little bit. This team can show up in the tight end department. Let's look at the defensive line. You've got, kind of a pedestrian defensive line. George Karlaftis definitely took a step downhill this year. Kancey of the Bucks is having an okay year. Jason Owe, I don't know what they got there at the line. They're not going to overwhelm you there. At the linebacker position, they're very deep. I like this a lot. But there is some injuries here. Nate Landman, let's have a look. Hamstrings can be troublesome. So you got to worry about that. And he's definitely he's their top performer per minute or per game. You've got this Savachia guy. He's out. He's on the IR. That's a problem. So basically, they're really hoping that Landman can be healthy for this game. Micah Parsons has always been a disappointment in his career, but he's adequate. If you can get 2 points or more at linebacker, it can work in this league. This is a young league. Now let's look at the secondary. Jeremy Chin is the star here, and he's excellent. Other than that, you know what? They're kind of underwhelming at defensive back. And to not have a solid defensive backfield in this league is kind of questionable because there's a lot of highly productive defensive backs. So, to not have at least 3 guys in the 2s average per game is, maybe questionable, and it definitely makes them vulnerable. You look at last week's production, they did get a big game from DaRon Bland, which saved them, and then Evan Williams. So, you know what? They have enough, I guess. I can't really say. I guess I overlooked Bland. Here he is, down here at the bottom. It's because he missed a lot of games this year, but look at the average. Almost 3 points a game. Last week he had 4 points. This guy actually is pretty decent. So I take that back about their secondary. They've got a veteran player here, a third-year player out of Fresno State, playing again and being very productive in the last 2 weeks. So I would say that, not a problem for Michigan. Look, again, it all boils down to this. This is going to be a barn burner of a matchup. Both teams are healthy. They have the tools to win this game and advance to the semifinals. So I'm going to call it. The game of the week is the Peach Bowl between number 6 California and number 3 Michigan. Both teams come in at 8-5. They're both healthy. They've had similar results in the regular season. They're very close in points. Really good matchup here. Number 6 versus number 3 Peach Bowl quarterfinal game. Yeah, this is going to be the most interesting game of this week. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you soon.